Michael, I understand you were involved with this park and ride at the beginning. Just tell me a little bit about that.
10 years ago, I persuaded the government to put £750,000 into this park because Swindon wanted to be a sustainable town. They wanted to encourage people to use public transport more, leave the congestion in the town centre, and everyone at that time was quite agreed that this was the right thing to do.
What is the decision by the council now, as far as you understand it?
Well, as far as I understand it, the council have decided to close the park. Now, everyone knows that they've got to make hard choices. First, there's virtually no consultation, and if you're going to make a decision that affects so many people so dramatically and does such damage to the environment, then the very least you do is consult people before you actually make a final decision. The second thing that worries me is that the council say that they want to be the #1 sustainable community in the UK. That's a very laudable aspiration, and everybody supports them in that. But then the first thing they do is cut the park and ride. They can't do both. You can't be hypocritical and say one thing and do another. And I think the council needs to think very carefully about this. I hope they'll change their mind.
Why do you think the council are coming to this decision? In these days of recession, is it surely not better that people, start saving money and not paying high charges in town?
Look, I think what's happened here is that the council have panicked. They've realised that they've got to manage their budget. They've rushed into this. I'm afraid it's not the first time they've taken a dramatic decision like this without consulting people properly. They should do so. I'm afraid they're just in a panic, and in this panic they're making the wrong decision.
And is it finally, is this against government policy to act like this?
Government policy is to encourage everybody to act sustainably. The council say they agree with that, but then they've gone and done this, which shows that they don't actually agree with it.
And what will you actually be doing about it?
Well, I've written to the council many times about this and trying to persuade them to see sense. It's not in the long-term interest of this town for the council to take this action. I hope even at this late stage they'll realise it.
Sarah, why is it so important to save this park and ride facility here in Swindon?
This is a fantastic facility which is used by a lot of commuters on a daily basis. It's a very efficient service, it's a very safe service, and we're fighting to keep the service running in its current format.
What's made the council decide to close it?
The council has told us that they can't afford to keep the service running. We understand that budgets are tight and that in a difficult economic climate they need to balance the books, but what we are saying is let's look at ways that we can keep the service running and explore alternative uses for the site.
And how much money are we talking about? Keep looking at him. How much money are we talking about?
We understand the current running costs are around £1/3 of a million.
Can you say that again? We
understand the running costs are around £1/3 of a million.
And do you think that's a lot of money, or is that nothing?
It seems an extraordinary amount of money for a service that doesn't require a huge amount of staffing apart from bus drivers.
Is there anything else behind this? Is it just money saving, or do you think it's another way of raising revenue, making people park in town?
Certainly that's something that we've heard on the grapevine. The council seems very keen on encouraging people to park in the town centre, but the council's own travel plan is all about seeking to have environmentally friendly policies and having public transport. So by encouraging people to park in the town centre, they're contradicting their own green travel plans.
And what is your campaign going to do if you lose the vote next week?
Well, we're hoping that we don't lose the vote. We certainly aren't going to give up. We're going to keep talking to users of the service. We're going to keep talking to businesses and other organisations that use the service and other organisations that may be affected by this closure. The campaign certainly isn't going to be over if that decision goes through. We will keep fighting to keep the service alive.
In these days of recession, people might say that saving £1/3 of a million is a good idea. What do you think?
Well...
No, come on, this is just a straight question.
It is, it's rubbish.
Right, go on then, off you go.
Of course there is an economic cost to the service, but the council must also think about the wider environmental impact of this service. By taking away this service, there inevitably will be greater congestion in the town centre, there's also going to be more pollution, and people who use the service to get to work will start thinking about alternative places to work. At the moment, this is a very efficient service. Swindon is in a great place strategically. People can work in other areas on the M4 corridor. If people can't travel to work easily, they may consider working in other parts of the nearby areas.